Hey everybody, welcome to the session. We're going to be talking a lot about the Cisco Nexus dashboard insights with me. I'm Karishma Gupta and I work as a technical marketing engineer, a part of the intent-based networking group. So, what is Cisco's motivation behind introducing tools like the Nexus Dashboard Insights? Now, when we look at the traditional tools, right, we're already aware that there are several challenges when we're looking at tools like SNMP, Syslog, NetFlow. Basically, we have several of these tools working in their own silos. So they're kind of addressing a lot of use cases. Of course, we've used them for over, 30 plus years, right? But they're quite fragmented, quite unintegrated, very reactive in nature, and also they're providing, limited visibility. They do need a lot of correlation, a lot of manual work, a lot of network level expertise to really understand where there's a problem and why it's happening. So these are some of the challenges that we see today, and that's exactly what we're trying to address with the dashboard insights. Now here at Cisco, what we're doing is we're building an intent-based network for data center. Pretty sure you have never heard that term before. So let me get into the weeds of it. It all begins with the intent, right? We're looking at whether we are looking at ACI or NXOS standalone fabrics. What's most important is what we want the users to do with the fabric. So intent is number one. And then we get into the assurance bit where, we definitely want to make sure that our fabrics are doing what we intended to do. Once that's done, we are now going in band and we're starting to monitor all this really good telemetry data, learning more about the fabrics, trying to get more visibility into how our fabrics are behaving. And that's where the analytics bit comes in. Now, that's what we're doing. We're building a closed loop system, and we're going to talk about exactly these aspects with the dashboard insights. Now we have embarked on a journey, a lot of feedback that we've received, and of course, this is something we've planned here. Last year, we were shipping the tools like Network Insights Resources, Network Insights Advisor, that's NIR and NIA. We do have a lot of install base for these applications. There are two phases of unification. The very first phase is where we're looking at unifying NIR and NIA into what we call the Nexus Insights 5.x. Now, this is something that's already shipping, and Nexus Insights with Network Assurance Engine or NAE will be unified into phase two, and that's what we're calling the Nexus Dashboard Insights. So a little detail around the terminology. And basically, of course, we all know that the unification is to indeed have that one single pane of glass, integrated workflows, and of course, a consistent UX. Now, all of these are running as services on top of a purpose-built appliance, and that's the Cisco Nexus dashboard. This is, available in a physical form factor today, but of course, with the next release, we're going virtual as well. And of course, we're looking at SaaS options as well with the Nexus dashboard. Why Nexus dashboard? Because just makes the whole deployment as well as consumption of these services easy. So our customers can simply get the appliance and get started. All the infrastructure like databases, Elastic. We're looking at Kafka. We're looking at other services like SSO. That's all provided by the Nexus dashboard, which is a Kubernetes-based system. So with that, I want to jump into the first bit, which is the assurance aspect. Now, Assurance Engine basically gives us the confidence and the guarantee that, I've defined certain intent and my network is indeed going to perform and do exactly what I intended it to do. Now, configuration may look good on paper, right? There may be some policy that, say, for example, APIC is going to accept because it theoretically sounds correct. But, the config that it's pushing, is it correct? Is it consistent? Or is it, making my forwarding state drift to something bad? My VM attachment, is it breaking my reachability intent? When we're looking at security, the security policies, are they actually complying with the compliance goals and the segmentation goals that I have set for my network? And last but not the least, of course, we all want our fabrics to kind of comply with business rules so that the audits can pass easily. And these are some of the use cases that are being addressed with the Assurance Engine. Now, very high level of how it works. Of course, as you must have already guessed, we are beginning with the intent. We are gathering the policy, we're gathering the config, and a lot of operational state. Now, when we're looking at operational state, we're looking at the control plane state, the data plane state, a TCAM programming, FibRib state, endpoint databases attached to a leaves and spines, and a lot more. Right. So this tool is basically sitting out of band. We're not looking at the actual traffic, but we're looking at the config, we're looking at the state every few minutes, which is basically called as an epoch. Now, when we're looking at the state, what are we doing with that data? Something that's been done in several verticals, right? We're building a mathematical model, a formal model, and we are running congruency checks using this normalized data set. Now, what are we matching it with? We're basically running exhaustive checks on this data using this codified knowledge base. Now, this knowledge base is basically, golden config, it's best practices, lessons we've learned over, years and years, right, of experience. Say there's attack case, how did we resolve it? Expertise that's coming in from, say, advanced services, CX, etc. So there's a lot of knowledge, obviously, that's available, a lot of things that we manually match with our fabric. We run with this data set. And what we've done is that we've codified that into the assurance engine and do this manually in a continuous basis, right? So this is happening every few minutes so that I can be rest assured that my fabric is running exactly how I basically intended to run. Now, I'm just giving some examples here, just as a config example, right? Say there's an inter-VRF routing, and the golden rule is that, of course, that we do not want overlapping subnets. That's going to break things, right? Now, if you have, say, VRF 1 and 2, and I go ahead, use VRF 2, and I punch in a subnet that kind of overlaps with VRF 1, what is Assurance Engine going to do? It's going to generate something that we call a smart event, which is basically nothing but a fault. And that's going to be telling me a lot about what, where, when, and how do I resolve the problem. So for example, here I have an event saying, hey, you have an overlapping subnet across these verbs. This is the prefix, this is the tenant, and this is a VRF, right? So I get that data set, which is the affected object. Then I am looking at the consumer EPG, I'm looking at the provider EPG, I'm looking at the affected leak VRF, right, originating VRF. So a lot of data available around, obviously, what VRFs have these subnets. And I know that, of course, I need to adjust and make sure that these are unique across VRFs for that inter-VRF routing. So that's a config problem, which is basically caught by Assurance Engine. If we look at another example, which is quite commonplace when we're looking at network migrations. So here again, it's expected that an internal subnet should not overlap with an external subnet. Otherwise, it's going to lead to suboptimal or actually broken routing, which we do not want. Now, if we actually end up doing this during a migration, how does Assurance Engine help us? It is again going to generate a smart event saying that you have an overlapping subnet across your external learned route and a BD in this VRF. It's going to tell me what is that BD, VRF, tenant, what is that overlapping subnet. It's then going to tell me the list of leaves where this is present, the L3 out on which this was learned. And then, very, very consumable format of the next steps. What should I do? If I want this subnet to be local, right, internal to ACI, then we want to make sure that this is advertised only externally out from ACI. And if the subnet actually belongs to the external world, then of course I need to get rid of this internally in that particular BD or VRF. So that's another example. And this is just a few examples, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of other such checks which are codified into the Assurance Engine to obviously help us with our assurance in the fabric. Now I'm going to get into the next one, which is dashboard insights. And this is about, a lot of visibility, monitoring, correlation, and analytics. Now, it's imperative that I understand what the normal is so that, any deviation from that is flagged and I get to know about this anomaly. With the dashboard insights, we are gathering very rich data from each switch in the fabric. We're looking at software telemetry. We're gathering hardware telemetry data. We're learning what hardware you have in the fabric, what software running on it, what features you've enabled, right? So basically that forms the source of the data in insights. And there are three main buckets as to what are we doing with our data. Number one, we're giving you a lot of visibility around this data, telling you how your fabrics are doing, how your switches are performing, interfaces and routing protocol stats, whether it's unicast or multicast, what resources are being used up, a topological view. And this is at a multiple fabric level. And we support multiple hierarchies, multiple topologies, right? Whether we're looking at ACI fabrics or we're looking at BGP EVPN or simple NXOS, just VPC based architectures. So everything I'm talking about kind of just applies to a whole bunch of fabrics and types of fabrics. Now we're looking at monitoring. That's number one use case, right? So I get that visibility, but again, what are we doing with our data? The crux of the application is to basically correlate bulk load of data across different nodes in the fabric over time, derive a baseline, and any deviation from that baseline is flagged. So say, for example, you get end-to-end flow path, right? You get the latency with the tool. However, if there's, say, a drop or there is a buffer, congestion or some kind of QoS drop, or say there's a microburst, there's duplicate IPs, whole bunch of use cases embedded into the product to kind of flag this, to bubble it up in a very consumable format again and say, in your face, it's right there, it's all flagged for you. So you know where things are broken and exactly what's broken, so you can quickly consume and resolve that problem.
A quick question.
Yes.
Are you going to talk more about the microburst detection at all?
Okay, absolutely. I can just bring this up, right? So this is basically coming from the burst detection itself is coming up from the switch, right? So it notifies the application that, hey, there's this burst. This is the impacted queue switch information, right? So all that is available. And in Dashboard Insights, in addition to showing you the impact of a burst, we'll also show you what flows were affected due to that, burst that happened between, say, time one and time two. So that is basically the whole microburst detection and the impact of that microburst that we show in the tool.
That's interesting. That's a pretty powerful tool. Now, does it give you mentioned the buffers, does it give you instrumentation on the port buffers on the equipment?
So today what we're doing is we are allowing you to get visibility that, hey, there was a drop and that was because of a buffer drop. That's something that's available today, but we do have plans to give more, utilization around a buffer or say, graphical interface around the trend of buffer utilization. That's something that will be coming up.
Cool. That would be very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So the very third use case is basically the advisory bit. So, the product life cycle, end of life, end of sale of your hardware, software, field notices, PCerts, known bugs. So if I have, another customer who got impacted with enabling this feature, let me go ahead and notify you that, hey, you are impacted by that problem as well. This is how we recommend you fix it. So that's the advisory bit, which is again very powerful, kind of moving you to more proactive approach versus going through a huge email of, say, these are the PCerts, this is the affected software, now you go manually match it, right? That's a lot of work. So again, the tool will allow you to get that visibility, and all the data, everything I spoke about, can be exported out using REST APIs. We also introduce support for Kafka. So, if you have an external broker, and I will act as a producer for all of these topics and email notifications. So that's also now available as part of the Dashboard Insights. So with that, I wanted to give a little overview of what these tools are. I want to go right into the demo and show some real world, use cases, right? So how can we use the tools to identify the problem and quickly rectify the problem? So as an example here, I do have use case where, say, there's a web server that cannot connect to backend database server, and I have the IP addresses, source IP, dest IP. And the interesting bit is that the customer complains that this did work fine before, and now I see a problem, right? So this is a data point I have. Of course, it's always a network, right? So what can I do? How can I use the Dashboard Insights and Assurance to identify this problem? So let me switch to my demo and show you the product in action. Now, like I was saying, this is basically hosted on top of the Nexus dashboard. So that's where I'm going to log in, right? Everything begins from the Nexus dashboard. So I'm logging in as an administrator. And we have onboarded sites today. It could be an ACI site, it could be an NXOS site, and we have services like the Assurance Engine and Nexus Insights. Now, just one thing I want to bring up is, like we discussed, these are two separate tools today, but with the next release, we are going to have this as one application that's going to be called the Nexus Dashboard Insights. So first, I'm going to launch the Nexus Insights, and because this tool is sitting in bank, it's capturing the actual traffic, right? So now I'm going to start using this tool to go and punch in a flow rule, and I'm going to tell the system that, hey, why don't you go and program these ACLs, these are the subnets, and start sending me the flow records so I can visualize how that flow is traversing my fabric. So I know the tenant, I know the VRF, and I know that subnet. So I'm creating a rule right here to kind of go into the system and push the respective config. Now that's the web server subnet that I just added. I'm just going to save this rule, and in a few seconds, of course, it pushes the config. It'll start sending the data, and obviously it needs to have that live, traffic to capture the flow, of course. So I'm going to go into what we call flow analytics. The tool is getting the flow records. It's stitching it all together end to end, and it's going to give me that visibility. So I have several filters here, and what I've done is basically I have punched in that particular web server subnet, and I want to start monitoring, how my flows are doing. So I see there are a bunch of flows. Let's start with the healthy flow. Now, how does that, what is the system doing, right? It's, like I said, it's stitching it together, and we can see end-to-end path detail. I can see the IP port protocol. I see the web server is actually talking to the destination. That's my database server. So that's the IP. And the port here is 1433, which is, SQL database, right? So it's basically having a very healthy communication. It's entering the fabric on a leaf, goes to spine, goes back to the leaf and the destination. So that's healthy. There were no drops noted. Another example is a major anomaly, right? So here, of course, there's a problem. And we are seeing, again, the source IP, dest IP. And if you see the dest IP, it's 8888. The protocol is ICMP, which means that when the web server tried to ping Google, it had a problem. What was the problem? My ingress leaf has a forward drop, and it means that there was a route miss. So, of course, I need to look into the routing table and make sure it can reach the outside world. So that's a good indicator of a problem. But I see another one, and this is the one I'm going to demonstrate, flow anomaly with a score of info. And it says, if you see, again, your web server talking to my database server on port 22, which is SSH. So that's another problem. It ingressed fine, right? I see the ingress leaf, but there's no egress. Clearly got dropped. So now, if I want to see where it got dropped, again, it has leaf 401 due to a policy drop. So this does give me a lot of information, which otherwise would need, a lot of manual work to go and look at the flows, look at each hop and identify looking at different data sets as to what got broken. But here I know it's a policy problem. So now that I know its intent, what I'm going to do is next up, I'm going to go to Assurance Engine, which as we discussed, it's all about intent. It's looking at our policies, looking at state and pointing us to problems. So here I'm going to begin with using the Explorer function. Explorer function is basically allowing me to run natural language queries. It's going to run through across, policies across the state and allow me to run can, what, view queries. So a lot of good data available. So here, in my particular case, I want to know if my front-end EPG can actually talk to the back-end. So I'm going to just punch in that rule. And if you see here, there are these arcs, right? So the arcs basically represent intent. They're telling me about conversation and they're telling me about front-end talking to back-end. So I just selected that and I'm asking how do they talk? How are they talking? Of course, there's got to be some contracts. There's a forwarding state. There's endpoints involved. So Explorer lets me get deep visibility into that conversation. Now here we look at the security flow table. We have contracts that have been defined to allow that communication to the SQL. If you see port 1433 and ICMP. So I have contracts, right? As we know, this works on zero trust. So we need to have contracts to allow the communication. I don't see anything for port 22. So I already know that's a problem. However, the customer did say that this worked before, right? So let me go back to an earlier point in time and run the same query and see if there was indeed, a contract which kind of got deleted by somebody. I'm running the same query. I'm asking, can my front end talk to back end? We're going to run exactly the same thing. We're going to ask it, how do they talk? And here, if you see, I'm looking at this at 9:13 p.m. And at 9:13 p.m., for example, there was a contract to allow that SSH conversation. If you look at the third line, that's exactly where it's pointing me to to my contract, which allowed the communication. Clearly, that was deleted. So that's my problem. I know exactly how to fix it. We have a tool called Delta Analysis. So if you want to see who made that change, right, we can run an epoch delta between time T1 and T2. I select an earlier epoch, 9:13 p.m., when it worked fine. And the later epoch, I select the current timestamp and I run that query. So what it's doing is between these two times, right? It's running the state, it's running a state diff, it's running a policy diff, and it'll show me exactly who made that change, which is again very powerful, pointing me to exactly the health delta and the policy delta. In my case, I'm going to get into the policy. I look that, okay, for that tenant and SSH, there was a change that was made, and I know exactly who made that change. If you see on the you look at the admin who deleted that entry. I see it in red that in a later epoch it was deleted, right? So this is just an administrator, but somebody called Karishma could have made a change and deleted it. So I know I can reach Karishma to ask them, hey, why did you delete this, right? Because I have a ticket open for that problem. So this is some workflow around how to identify, in band, out of band, to really get to the policy level. Lot of good data and visibility available so that I can really identify the problem and quickly resolve it. And again, like I said, these are two different tools today, but would be unified into a single product that's going to be called the Nexus Dashboard Insights.
So, Krishna, what is the plans for people who have already purchased Nexus Dashboard? What is the migration path to Nexus Dashboard Insights?
Yes, so we are actually going to be with Nexus Dashboard, right? That's still going to be used. Nexus Dashboard will be used for individual applications like we see NAE and NI. And when we migrate into a unified app that's called, the Dashboard Insights, they basically can just, just upgrade from like an existing version, which is NI 5.0 to NI 6.0. That's going to be the next train. And it's going to be an inline upgrade. So really no change in terms of the infrastructure, a one-click upgrade. Those are the options that we will be providing to kind of start using this unified tool. Yeah. Network Assurance Engine Pro. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and so is there going to be any charge for that? Is it a smooth path? I know if they, depending on which version of ACI, it's licensed. But I mean, I'm just worried about customers, in the future going, oh no, they're changing it again, and kind of panicking.
Absolutely. Very fair question. So basically, in terms of licensing, right, these tools kind of already, we've bundled them together into what we have two options. One is a Premier license to use all the tools together. So whether using NI, NAE, doesn't matter. It's a per switch, subscription-based license. And a lot of our customers have already migrated to that model. We're kind of end-of-lifing the a la carte license, right? So that's kind of already going away. We've already sent a whole bunch of notifications around that. Now that Premier license or a day to ops bundle, which is option 2, that will still continue to be, working with the unified approach. So that's still exactly what we would need to run these services on top of Nexus Dashboard. Nexus Dashboard itself doesn't have any charge, right? It's really based on the services. That's the licensed model, and it's pretty in line with what we already have today. That was a little about, an Insights dashboard. We're looking at assurance bid. But what are we talking about when we come into integrations, right? So who are we integrating with? The first phase, the first product we're integrating with is the Cisco App Dynamics. I know, most of us have heard about that before. Very popular because it gives us a 24/7 monitoring of our applications, not just as a whole, but at a transactional level as well. and it works in the most complex distributed environment. So it's really powerful. It's gathering performance and business statistics. It's baselining it, and again, any performance deviation from this baseline is flagged, right? And so you can get into the application level, you can look at the calls that were made to the backend, you can get into the code level. So very, very good visibility when it comes to applications. And guess what? We're doing exactly the same thing with the dashboard insights at a network level. So what we decided to do was bring the two worlds together, right? So there's no finger pointing, there's no silos. If there's a problem, if there's an application problem, we can give you the right set of tools to identify if that problem resulted due to your network or not. So that is what we're addressing. Very, very, useful integration, in my opinion, when we're, bringing the two worlds together. So with that, I want to jump into a quick demo again and show you how this looks like. So I'm in Nexus Insights, right? This is again hosted on top of the Nexus dashboard as we discussed. So I kind of cross-launch into NI, and the integration is located here under the Integrations tab. So when I click on App Dynamics, this is again all time-based, so I can go back in time. And we have a dashboard view which kind of gathers my application data. It's showing me what applications are running, what tiers, what nodes. So all of this really powerful data around my applications itself, we are getting from App Dynamics. So that's again being pulled by Nexus Insights. And we know that, look, this is the application, these are the statistics, these are the tiers, nodes. So for a network operator, everything at a network level that would be interesting to them is what we bubble up here in this dashboard. But one very important thing is when the tiers themselves are talking to each other, right, they form something that we call the network link. So for example, if my order tier is talking to payment tier, someone complains, hey, my payment's not going through. Now, when these are talking, what are they forming? Of course, these are flows within the fabric. So what we do with this integration is we capture that flow between the two tiers. And again, this is done using hardware telemetry. So we can browse through those flows. If you see, it automatically created those filters. And if I go into all the flow records, right, I see everything is healthy. So let me click on one of these, get into details. Again, I'm looking at my source, my destination, latency. It looks okay, 4 microseconds. That's what I expected to be. And I'm looking at the path summary, again, going through and through the fabric just fine, right? So this is a good indicator that I don't have a network problem, and it probably is resulting due to something, right? It could be a contract, or it could be something at an application level that's broken. Or if there's a buffer drop, for example, you can use again the same tool, and the red dot, if we remember in the previous demo, will point you to exactly what that network problem is. So that is how we are, closing and breaking the silos, where we kind of show you application to network mapping, and we have a good topological view of how that maps to your nodes and how that maps to your ACI or NX fabric. So that's a topology view. And again, this is the very short overview of what we're doing with the integration with App Dynamics.
So I've got a question for you. And this
Yes.
goes back to a few slides as you were showing the flows.
Mhm.
If I've got a Nexus Leafspine data center, but I've got some other pieces in maybe the firewall position, controlling VRFs and load balancers,
Yes.
is there still a place for this in the data center that I'm running as far as visualizing the flows? Can I see the same kind of information when I have different vendors in those roles, but Nexus for Leafspine? What does that look like?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. So basically, what we're doing with respect to the flow data today, this is all hardware telemetry, and that is very specific to the cloud scale ASICs, right? So we're looking at the EX, FX, FX2, GX of the Nexus 9000. So this visibility comes from hardware telemetry, which is the only form of data we can ingest today. In the next phase, what we're doing is we will start ingesting net flow data as well. Now, we are just starting with that process where, exactly like you said, there could be a layer 4 to layer 7 device. How do we integrate with that? Plans are to start getting, more industry standard flow formats like NetFlow, ingest that, and kind of, correlate these different data formats to give us that visibility. Are we there today? Not yet. Phase 1, the next release, we will ingest NetFlow data. And definitely end of the year, we do have plans to bring in firewalls and load balancers as well. But just one thing I want to point out with the assurance engine, right? We're already assuring the FI load balancer. So that's already being done when we're talking assurance. But I just wanted to kind of, answer with respect to the flow, especially like you asked. So that was, two demos that I wanted to talk about today. Now, what's next? Of course, a lot of really interesting stuff coming up, but some highlights around here is today we can onboard only either an ACI or a DCNM fabric. We're going truly into a unified approach where we provide, looking at hybrid fabrics. So whether you're using ACI, DCNM, doesn't matter, onboard your site onto the same cluster. What if you have different clusters, right? One in Asia, one in America. Do you get one view? You do. What we're doing is a single pane of glass, linked mode to give us that common, visibility wherever my sites are and whichever cluster of Nexus dashboard is monitoring them. We spoke about NetFlow, unification of assurance engine with insights. That's another big one. Anomaly lifecycle. I don't care about this anomaly. Don't bug me. Sure, we'll let you suppress or kind of acknowledge that anomaly as well. We are having some really interesting integrations with ServiceNow and Splunk that's coming up, and of course the virtual form factor for the Nexus dashboard. So that's some features that are coming out with the next release of the dashboard insights. And with that, I'd like to end the presentation. I want to thank everyone for coming on and joining us today.